There's a quiet burden you carry that no one else sees. It's heavy, but it doesn't have a shape. It's there when you wake up, when you're working, when you lie down at night. It's the weight of thoughts that won't let go, thoughts that circle and spiral, thoughts that feel sticky, persistent, and alive. You try to shake them loose, but they only tighten their grip. And the harder you fight, the more they seem to define you. Maybe you've tried to distract yourself, filling the silence with noise, with work, with scrolling, with anything that might drown them out. Or maybe you've tried to reason with them, to argue them into submission. But they're still there, lingering, whispering. Sometimes, you wonder if they're a part of you now, if this is just who you've become. But let me ask you this. When did you first notice them? When did you first feel their weight? Was it after a moment of failure, a disappointment, a loss? Or was it something subtler, a slow accumulation of doubts and fears over time? These thoughts might feel like they've always been there, but they're not. They're visitors. They arrived at some point, and they've overstayed their welcome. The truth is, you don't have to carry them anymore. Not because you've found the perfect solution, not because you've suddenly become invincible, but because these thoughts, painful as they are not as powerful as they seem. They're stories you've told yourself, interpretations of the world shaped by moments of vulnerability. And stories, no matter how convincing, can be rewritten. But before you try to fix anything, before you try to change or escape or suppress, let's just pause. Let's sit with this for a moment. Because here's the thing, you don't need to fight these thoughts. You don't need to conquer or destroy them. You don't even need to agree with them. What you need is to see them for what they are, just thoughts. Not facts, not truths, not inevitable outcomes. Just thoughts. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a sky, vast and open. And these thoughts are clouds. Some are dark and heavy, threatening storms. Others drift by quietly, barely noticed. But the sky doesn't try to change the clouds. It doesn't shrink or collapse under their weight. It simply holds them, observes them, and lets them pass. Can you begin to do the same? To see these thoughts not as enemies but as passing weather patterns? To give them space without giving them power? It's not easy, I know. When a thought feels personal, when it feels like it's about who you are or what you failed to do, it's hard to detach. But detachment isn't indifference. It's clarity. It's the courage to step back and ask, is this true? Or is this just something I believe because it hurts? Let's take one thought right now, the one that's been bothering you the most. Maybe it's about your worth, your abilities, your future. Hold it gently. Examine it as if you're holding an unfamiliar object in your hands. Where did it come from? What does it say about you? And most importantly, does it help you? Does it serve you? Or does it only bring pain? You might find that these thoughts, once examined, lose their edge. They become less menacing, less personal. They become what they truly are, just echoes of old fears, old wounds, old habits. And if they're echoes, then they don't need to define you. They don't need to shape your decisions or your life. Letting go doesn't mean erasing these thoughts. It means changing your relationship with them. It means seeing them without letting them see themselves as you. It's a subtle shift, but a profound one. And it begins with a single question. How much of this is real, and how much of this is just a story I've been telling myself? Let's explore that question together in the next part. But for now, just sit with this. Let the sky hold the clouds. Let yourself simply be. You're not alone in this. I'm here, walking beside you. This is mindful growth. Take a deep breath. We've only just begun. There's a moment, often in the quiet, when you catch a glimpse of it, the source of the storm. It's not always obvious, not always loud. Sometimes it's a flicker of memory, a faint echo of a moment you thought you'd forgotten. Other times, it's a feeling that rises unexpectedly, like a wave breaking on the shore of your awareness. This is where the weight of your thoughts begins to make sense. This is where the story starts to unravel. Think of it like this. Your mind is a garden. The thoughts that trouble you are the weeds, persistent and invasive. But weeds don't grow in empty soil. They take root in something that was already there, something that gave them the space to grow. What is that soil for you? What is the ground beneath these thoughts that keeps them alive? For some, it's a deep-seated fear of failure, a voice that whispers, you're not enough. For others, it's the weight of expectations, the pressure to be something you're not. Maybe it's a wound from the past, a moment when you felt rejected, abandoned, or unseen. These are the roots of the storm. They're the hidden currents that shape the surface of your thoughts, the unseen forces that keep you tethered to the same patterns. But here's the thing. These roots are not you. They're not your essence, your core, your truth. They're the layers of experience that have built up over time, the stories you've absorbed from the world around you. And stories, no matter how deeply ingrained, can be rewritten. The first step is to see them for what they are, not as truths, but as interpretations. Not as facts, but as possibilities. Take a moment to reflect. What is the story you've been telling yourself? What is the narrative that keeps you stuck in the same cycle of thought? Is it a story of inadequacy, of unworthiness, of being fundamentally flawed? Or is it something else, something more subtle, more insidious? Whatever it is, it's worth examining. Because the stories we tell ourselves shape the way we see the world and the way we see ourselves. Let's go deeper. Think of a moment when you felt truly at peace, when the weight of your thoughts seemed to lift, even if only for a moment. What was different in that moment? What was absent? Was it the absence of judgment, of expectation, of fear? Or was it the presence of something else, something like acceptance, like presence, like love? These moments are clues. They're glimpses of what's possible, of what lies beyond the storm. Now, consider this. What if the storm is not the enemy? What if it's a messenger, a signal, a call to attention? What if the thoughts that trouble you are not there to harm you, but to guide you, to show you where the work needs to be done, where the healing needs to begin? This is not to say that the pain is not real. It is. But pain, when understood, can be a teacher. It can be a catalyst for growth, for transformation, for change. So, what is your pain trying to tell you? What is the deeper need, the deeper longing that lies beneath the surface of your thoughts? Is it a need for connection, for understanding, for belonging? Is it a longing for something more, something beyond the confines of the story you've been living? These are the questions that lead to the heart of the matter. These are the questions that begin to untangle the roots of the storm. As you sit with these questions, you might feel a shift. You might notice that the weight of your thoughts begins to lighten, that the storm begins to calm. This is not because the thoughts have disappeared, but because you've begun to see them differently. You've begun to see them as part of a larger story, a story that you have the power to rewrite. This is the work of letting go. It's not about erasing the past or denying the pain. It's about understanding it, integrating it, and finding a way to move forward. It's about reclaiming your power, your agency, your voice. It's about choosing the story you want to live, rather than the one you've been given. So, take a deep breath. Let the storm pass. Let the roots of your thoughts be exposed, not as something to fear, but as something to understand. And as you do, remember this. You are not the storm. You are the sky. You are the vast, open space that holds it all. And in that space, there is peace. There is clarity. There is freedom. There's a place beneath the noise, a quiet, steady center that's always there, even when your mind feels like a storm. Imagine it like the ocean. On the surface, there might be waves crashing, wind howling, chaos unfolding. But dive deeper, and you'll find a stillness, a calm that remains untouched by the turbulence above. That stillness is you. Not the thoughts, not the storm, but the quiet awareness that holds it all. You've been living on the surface for a while now, caught up in the waves of thought, tossed by their momentum. And it's exhausting, isn't it? The endless cycle of reacting, analyzing, worrying. It's like trying to swim against the current, only to find yourself back where you started. But what if you stopped swimming? What if, instead of fighting the waves, you let them carry you? What if you trusted the stillness beneath? Let's try something simple, something practical. Close your eyes for a moment, just a moment, and take a slow, deliberate breath. Feel the air move in and out. Notice the space between breaths. That's where the stillness lives. You don't have to stay there long, just long enough to remember it's there. Long enough to feel the pull of the surface thoughts loosen, even just a little. Now, let's go deeper. Think of a moment when you felt fully present, completely absorbed in something, maybe lost in a conversation, a piece of music, or the simple act of walking outside. In those moments, the weight of your thoughts didn't disappear, but it didn't matter. Why? Because you weren't caught up in them. You were here, fully here. That's the stillness, and it's always available to you. It's not something you have to create or achieve. It's something you return to. But here's the challenge. Our minds are wired to cling to the surface. We're conditioned to believe that every thought, every problem, needs our attention. And sometimes, it feels easier to stay in the storm than to dive beneath it. Why? Because the storm feels familiar. It feels real. The stillness, on the other hand, can feel elusive, even foreign. But the truth is, the stillness is the most real thing there is. It's the space where you exist before the thoughts, after the thoughts, beyond the thoughts. So, how do you return to it? Start small. Start with the breath. Start with 5 minutes of sitting quietly, not to fix anything, not to analyze or solve, but simply to be. Let the thoughts come and go like waves. You don't have to stop them, change them, or judge them. Just notice them. And then, gently, bring your attention back to the stillness. Back to the breath. Back to the moment. Journaling can help. Not the kind of journaling where you pour out every thought in a frantic attempt to make sense of them, but the kind where you observe. Write down the thoughts that feel heaviest, and then ask yourself, what is this thought trying to protect me from? What does it want from me? Often, you'll find that even the most painful thoughts are rooted in a desire for safety, for love, for acceptance. And when you see that, they lose their grip. They become softer, more manageable. Here's the deeper insight. The thoughts that hurt you are not arbitrary. They're not random. They're signals, pointing you towards something that needs your attention. Maybe it's a fear that needs to be faced. Maybe it's a wound that needs to be healed. Or maybe it's just a reminder to return to the stillness, to the place where you're already whole. So let the storm rage if it must. But don't forget the stillness. It's not a place you have to fight to reach. It's a place you simply remember. And the more you remember, the more you'll find yourself living from it, not as someone battered by the waves, but as someone anchored in the depths. Take a moment now. Breathe. Feel the stillness. It's waiting for you. As we come to the end of this journey, let's return to where we began, to the quiet burden you carry, the weight of thoughts that once felt unshakable. But now, perhaps, they feel different. Not because they've disappeared, but because you've begun to see them for what they are. Not truths, not commands, not the essence of who you are, but simply thoughts. Fleeting, temporary, and, most importantly, not in control of you. Think of it like this. You've been standing in a storm, trying to hold onto something solid, something that would make sense of the chaos. But the storm isn't something to hold on to. It's something to move through. And in moving through it, you've discovered something profound, that the storm isn't the whole story. Beneath it, there's a stillness, a quiet, a calm that has always been there, waiting for you to return to it. This stillness isn't a place you need to create or a state you need to achieve. It's already within you, like the deep, unchanging core of the ocean. It's the part of you that remains untouched by the waves, the part that knows, even in the midst of chaos, that you are whole, you are enough, you are here. And it's always there, waiting for you to remember it. So, as you move forward, carry this with you. The thoughts that hurt you are not the truth of who you are. They're the weather, the waves, the passing storms. And while they may come and go, they don't define you. You are the sky, the ocean, the stillness that holds it all. You are the space in which everything arises and falls away. And in that space, there is peace. This doesn't mean the journey is over. There will be moments when the storm returns, when the weight of thought feels heavy once more. But now, you know something you didn't before, that you don't have to fight the storm. You can simply let it pass, knowing that beneath it, the stillness remains. And in that knowing, there is freedom. So, when you find yourself caught in the storm again, remember this. You are not the storm. You are the stillness. And the stillness is always there, waiting for you to return. Take a moment now to breathe, to feel the quiet within you. Let it remind you of what you've always known, even if you've forgotten. You are whole. You are enough. You are here. This is mindful growth. The journey continues, but the stillness remains.